Hello, and welcome to the Path to Freedom podcast, a podcast that is about how you can tap into the freedom that is inherent within you, regardless of what is going on in the external world. Freedom from fear, worry, and doubt. Freedom to follow your heart's desires. Freedom to live in joy, love, peace, and harmony. My name is Daniel Roqueo, and I'm your host. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Path to Freedom podcast. A podcast that is about freedom. The freedom that is all around us, that is within us, the freedom that we are. We were born, we came here as free beings to this planet. And while we're here, it is kind of our lesson to learn to tap into that freedom again, because most of us have been taught to forget about that freedom, to live under the aegis of the ego, to live under the aegis of social norms and cultural trends, to live in confinement, in limitation and lack. And so this podcast invites us all to go beyond that which we've learned and set that freedom, that innate freedom free. That we may be free. Free from fear and worry and doubt. Free to follow our heart's desires. Free to live in peace and joy and harmony. All of this regardless of circumstances. So I welcome you to this episode. My name is Daniel Roqueo. And the topic for today is to have an impossible dream. To have an impossible dream. Because most of us, we move through life either without having a dream at all, or just dreaming about that which we deem possible, which is confined and limited by our experiences, or the experiences of other individuals that are close to us in our lives. So the topic for today is to have an impossible dream. But before we get into that, as always, let's begin in gratitude. We always want to begin in gratitude. So I invite you to close your eyes. Take a deep, conscious breath. Become still, not only physically, but mentally. Take another breath. And allow your breathing to slow you down. Allow the body's breaths to take you deeper into the nowness of this moment, this high and holy moment, this beautiful moment, this sacred moment beyond time. We're transcending time. We're going beyond time. We're leaving the past behind. We're leaving the present behind. We're leaving the future behind. We move into the eternal. To the eternal moment. So let's just hang here for a while. Allowing the body to breathe with its divine intelligence. It knows how to breathe, so we don't have to breathe for it. We can simply surrender to the body. Allow it, give it permission to do the breathing. And we just simply observe it. allowing each breath to move us deeper and deeper into this holy moment, this holy now. So in this moment, I invite you to open and expand, that we may see and feel and hear that which we cannot see or feel or hear with our human senses. But as we move into the eternal, we give ourselves permission to catch and discover and realize the secret, the blessings, the dreams that are dwelling in the eternal, those that we have not yet been able to catch, those that we have not yet been able to see or feel or hear. But as we open and expand, we give them permission to reveal themselves to us. So we open and expand, and now I invite us to embrace and allow whatever we're catching, whatever we're seeing, whatever we're feeling, whatever we're hearing. I invite us to embrace and allow it, which simply means that we don't resist it. We don't deny it. We don't fight it. But whatever comes to us, whatever we catch, we let it be. And then lastly, I invite us to release and let go of that which would hinder, obscure, obstruct that which is seeking to emerge from emerging. So we open and expand, we embrace and allow, we release and let go. And now we take on that wonderful, beautiful feeling of gratitude. And so I invite you to think of something that you're grateful for. It doesn't matter what. Just think of something that has happened perhaps in the past, something that is right now, or something that you know is going to be in the future. Take on that beautiful high vibration of gratitude. Allow yourself to smile. Give yourself permission to smile. Even if you cannot find anything to be grateful for in this moment, just smile anyway. Smiling informs the body, it informs life that all is well. So just smile. And from this, as these tonic chemicals are being released by our smiling, find something to be grateful for. Even if it is your breath, your body breathing. Be grateful for that, for who you are, something that, a blessing that may be in your life right now. For the abundance that you have, for the health that you have. I mean, you have enough that you're able to listen to this, which is more than most people on this planet. You have enough money to have a gadget, a smartphone or a computer or whatever, that you may listen to this. So you are abundant. And you obviously, as you're listening to this, you obviously have ears to hear with. And that fact alone is something to be grateful for. That you're not in so much pain that you can actually sit here or lie here or stand here or however you're listening to this, but you're free from pain enough that you can join me here. For that good friend of yours, your family, your job, or whatever. Just take on that feeling tone of gratitude. Feel how it feels. Feel how it feels to be grateful. Feel yourself being lifted up onto a high vibration. So we're being lifted up in this moment, and we always want to begin here. We always want to begin in this high vibration. Whatever we set out to do, we always want to give thanks. We always want to start with this high vibration of gratitude. That clears our perception, that takes us out of being a victim, that takes us out of resistance, that moves us out of opinions and disempowers the ego. So it's a beautiful place to start. And let's just hang out here for a while, just a short period of time. So just breathe and be grateful. Be grateful and breathe. And smile. And smile. Smiling is so important. All right. I'm just gonna say amen, because this is prayer. Hanging out in this high vibration, it's a sort of a prayer. So amen to this. I invite you to open your eyes and let's begin to have an impossible dream. Most individuals move through life without having a vision, without having an intention, without having a dream that they have given permission to pull them. So they are dragged along by whatever life throws at them. But we want to, as awakening individuals, as we're moving along the path of freedom, we don't want to give life or society or the news or other individuals or other people, we don't want them to have the power to move us, but we want to take our power back, that we may move consciously through life. Which is why we need an intention, which is why we need a vision or a dream. But just having a dream is not... It's good to have a dream, it's good to have a vision, it's good to have an intention, but we want to take it one step further. We want to have an impossible dream. We want to dream of something that the surface mind says it cannot be done. Because that is how we grow and unfold to become our greatest version. If we have a little dream, something that we know that we can accomplish, the growth and expansion will not be that great. We will not be challenged. But we're not here to live a challenge-free life. But we're here that we may grow and expand continuously, allowing for greater and grander versions of ourselves to come into manifestation. As Reverend Michael Bernard Beckwith says, if the shoe fits, take it off, because we're not here to live inside the comfort of our comfort zones, but we're here to break free of our comfort zones. This is freedom. continuously moving, rung to rung to rung to rung to rung to rung, on the path of freedom, on the ladder of freedom. So we want to have an impossible dream. Now, what does it mean to have an impossible dream? It means that we have a dream that goes beyond logic, that goes beyond reason, that goes beyond anything that we've previously been able to even imagine. Because even our imagination is confined by our previous experiences. So if we only go by what we can imagine, then we're confining ourselves, we're limiting ourselves. And so we want to go beyond what we can imagine to be possible. Most people are run by logic, or what's possible, or reason. But we're not here for that. We're here to shatter those small and limited paradigms. We're here to shatter logic and reason. We're here to shine and glow like no one has ever shone and glowed before. We're not here to walk in the footsteps of another, but we're here to tread our own path in a direction that no one has ever gone before. We're here to radiate and express beauty like never before. We're here to create and manifestate like no one has ever manifested or created before. For that, we need to have an impossible dream. Having an impossible dream that pulls us along. I am so grateful for the dream and the intention that is pulling me, that is continuously guiding and leading and moving me to ever higher and higher levels of consciousness, to ever higher and higher levels of expressions, to ever higher and higher levels of manifestation. So for just a brief moment, let's become still once again. Take a breath. Turn within and ask your heart, ask your soul what its desires are. What does your heart desire? Not what your surface mind thinks is possible or logical, but what does your heart desire? Because that's the kind of dream we want. That's the kind of dream we need in order to live a satisfying life, in order to be truly and fully happy. When we're pursuing that dream, when we're run by inspiration rather than desperation, as we were talking about a few weeks ago, that is when true freedom emerges. That is when true joy emerges. Bliss, ecstasy, creativity, beauty, all of that emerges as we say yes to what our hearts desire. And don't listen to the ego, because the ego will serve you excuses. You're not happy enough. You're not rich enough. You're not black enough. You're not white enough. You're not thin enough. You're not muscular enough. You were born on the wrong side of the tracks, in the wrong country, at the wrong time. Your parents, or whatever. Those are all excuses that the ego uses to keep us small, to keep us confined to our present paradigms. So be aware of them, but don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Imagine, because life knows no logic. Life knows no boundaries. Another word for life is God. God knows nothing of reason. God only knows infinite potential. infinite potential. We all live and move in a field and a sea of infinite possibilities. Possibilities are everywhere, and the only reason we sometimes cannot see it or see them or feel them or experience them is because we are not open and receptive enough. We are not open and available enough. So what does it mean to have an impossible dream? Well, it means that we give the infinite access to us. So what does your heart desire? What does your soul desire? Sometimes people ask the difference between the ego and the heart because they haven't yet learned how to discern the different voices. The egoic voice from the still small voice that is forever speaking and whispering words of wisdom and guidance and love within us. Well, it's very simple. We just need to listen to what it's saying. Because the still small voice is forever speaking for good of all. It always wants and seeks the greater good. Not only for me, but for all. The ego, on the other hand, coming from the perception of I am not enough and there is not enough. So the ego constantly speaks about lack and separation. It's all about me, 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 me. How can I get more? How can I get enough? How can I accumulate? How can I hoard? But we want to go underneath or transcend the ego. We want the soul, our hearts, to guide us to have an impossible dream. So what is your heart asking for you to do, to pursue? What are your gifts and talents and abilities that is longing to be expressed, that is longing to be shared with the world? But perhaps sometimes we don't dare to. We're afraid of what others may think, what others may say. We're afraid of not succeeding. We're afraid of failure. But there is no such thing as failure. There's only learning. There's only lessons. There's only preparations. For each time we quote unquote fail, we're being prepared. We learn something that we need to learn. So we're wise and well to let go of all those doubts and fears and worries projected by the ego and its limited perception. So let's move into the realm of the impossible. And even look at the word impossible. It spells I am possible, or I'm possible. So even the word impossible speaks of the infinite potential and the infinite possibility that is all around us. I'm possible. Whatever we deem is impossible is actually possible. So what does your heart desire? Now, as we dream, as we have an impossible dream for ourselves, that is not good enough. I'm sorry. It's not good enough. We also need to have a dream, an impossible dream for the planet. Because we're living right now in a paradigm shift. The old is very much dying, it's dissolving, it's falling apart, and the new is emerging. But that new needs all of us to midwife it. It needs all of us to call it forth, to describe it, to articulate it, to dream about it, that it may emerge. So while we have an impossible dream for ourselves, our families, we also need to have an impossible dream for the planet. How can we call forth a world where love reigns? A world where compassion reigns? A world where peace reigns? How can we call forth a world of kindness? Not only absolutely love, compassion, kindness, peace for all human beings, but not only for all human beings, but for Mother Earth and all beings. All beings. Trees, flowers, grass, animals. Mother Earth itself, she's a living being. We want to have an impossible dream for her too. How can we have an impossible... What if everybody on the planet had enough? Enough to eat? What if everybody on the planet got to feel safe and secure? What about if everyone on the planet got to feel happy? What about if there were no borders on the planet? Borders are only man-made. It's got nothing to do with life. So what about if there were no borders on the planet? Let's have an impossible dream for us, you and me, for the world, for the planet. Take a breath, please. And allow yourself, give yourself permission to feel the impossible, to yield to the impossible, to surrender to the impossible. Because we never need to know how something is going to manifest. We never need to know how manifestation is going to take place. That is not up to us. All that is up to you, all that is up to me is to know the what. All that is up to us is to have this impossible dream. And set the intention to see it realized, to see it manifested. That's it. God, life, the sacred laws, they deal with the how. We just simply need to say yes. Nothing is impossible to God. Nothing is impossible to life. Look at life. Just look around you. My God, the trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of various unique expressions of life. Everywhere. Nothing is impossible to life. Where there's vibrational alignment, there's nothing that cannot manifest. So we need to have this dream, and we need to feel, and this is so important. we need to feel that it has already happened. This is vibrational alignment. So whatever dream you catch right now, for yourself, for the planet, first of all, know that that dream that you're catching, it has a life of its own. It's a seed planted within you by the Divine Mind. So it has a seed of its own. And just like any seed, you plant a seed in the soil, and you, I would imagine, would not go about wondering how that seed is gonna grow up into a tree or a plant or whatever kind of seed you've planted. If you've ever planted a seed, you planted it, you gave it water, you created the conditions for it, the conditions that it needed, but then you surrendered it, that its own unfolding could take place. An unfolding that you could not affect, you could not speed up, you could not improve the unfolding of that seed, but you surrendered to it. And this is what we need to do with our dreams, even the impossible ones. We have the dream, we surrender it, and in a way we get out of its way, that it may expand and unfold on its own. Yes, we need to turn our attention within, that we may hear this dream pulling us, guiding us, leading us into inspired action. Inspired action. Leading and guiding us into which steps to take, that it may unfold. But we never have to make it unfold. All we need to do is make it welcome. To give it permission. To embrace and allow it to open and expand. And release and let go all of that which does not serve its unfolding. Release and let go of all of that which does not help create the proper conditions. We come back to gratitude. We always want to begin in gratitude. Gratitude is that high vibration that creates the right conditions for your dream, for our dream to manifest. So we want to dwell in gratitude. We want to hang out in gratitude. In fact, I think the next episode is going to be all about gratitude. It's such a beautiful vibration. It was Meister Eckhart, that Dominican monk, that supposedly said, if your only prayer is thank you, that will suffice. Which means that if we hang out in the high vibration of gratitude, that is all we need. Because in that high vibration, all of our fears are gone, all of our doubts are gone, all of our worries are gone. But we live in a perpetual state of being open, available, and receptive for that impossible dream to come through us. Take a breath again. Let's enter into using gratitude as a spiritual practice. As you have now begun to catch your dream for yourself, for the planet, I invite you to give thanks for it. Thank you, God, that this and that has manifested. Give thanks for it. Not only this of course is it's practice. But we want to seek to not only give thanks, but even more importantly, to feel grateful. To really take on that feeling tone of being grateful for our dream, our vision, our intention having manifested. Because it has. Now, it hasn't manifested, but it is, well, in the mind of God, it's already done. In the mind of God, it's already manifested. In this dimension, it takes a little bit of time. It will manifest in due time, because there are certain qualities that we need to cultivate. There are certain lessons that we need to learn. So there's a maturation period between us saying yes to the vision or to the impossible dream and it manifesting here in this dimension. But in the mind of God, in the infinite mind, the divine mind, it has already manifested. And that is what we give thanks for in advance. Even before it manifests. Because that is using the laws rightly. Giving thanks for that which we cannot see yet, fully knowing that it's already done. That is vibrational alignment. Full vibrational alignment. So that's where we want to seek to hang out. In that vibration, in that consciousness. So let's just give thanks for that impossible dream that has now begun its active transition from the invisible to the visible. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What does your surface mind deem impossible that your heart desires? That's where we want to go. That's what we want to invite. Yes? I think we've talked about it before, about how guidance come to us, how it comes, because it comes in various forms. This dream that you're now beginning to catch, it will speak to you, it will guide you, it will lead you, it will move you, always in a language and in a way that you can understand, that we all can understand. Now that language and way, it may be different. The dream may speak to you, your dream may speak to you in one way, and my dream may speak to me in another way, and we need to find that way. Guidance, intuition, the still small voice, it speaks in various ways. Through images, sounds, visions, feeling, or inner knowing, or a combination of them. But we need to learn to discern that still small voice, because it is always broadcasting, it is always speaking to us in each and every single moment. We're being guided, we're being led, we're being moved, we're being pulled in a way, in a language that as we learn to discern that way in language, we will understand it. Which is one of the reasons for meditation as a spiritual practice. As we learn to become still sort of mute out the ego. As we learn to become still, as we come back to the nowness of this moment on a regular and consistent basis, that still small voice that speaks to us will become clearer to us, more detectable. And that still small voice, man, oh man, it is the most powerful and most reliable source of guidance you will ever find anywhere. Anywhere. It's the voice of our souls. It's the voice of God speaking to us. Always, always, always. I'm going to pray us out. I invite you to have this, to give this process that has now begun to keep moving. In other words, I invite you to, on a regular and consistent basis, become still and ask yourself what your heart desires. To make yourself open and available to catch that impossible dream for yourself and for the planet. And once you've begun to catch it, I invite you to revisit it, play with it, invite it in, engage in it. Allow it to become alive and active within you. Hang out in that imaginary, well, it's not imaginary, but hang out in that reality. Come back to that reality that it may move you forward. All right. So I'm going to pray us out. I invite you to close your eyes, unless it is inappropriate for you to close your eyes at this moment. But if it is possible, I invite you to close your eyes. And I'm so grateful. I give thanks, and I give thanks for this field of infinite possibilities that is forever surrounding us. We're swimming in it, we're bathing in it, we're marinating in it. It is such a blessing to live in this frequency of everything being possible. And I'm so grateful to know that right now, right here where we are, there's something wonderful happening. Something once again has been set in motion. I'm so happy, I'm so grateful to know that each moment is a starting point. And so in this moment, as we've begun to catch this impossible dream, our life has taken on in a new direction. The trajectory of our lives has now shifted. And we're being pulled and moved into even higher levels of consciousness, into even higher levels of manifestation, into even higher levels of vibration. I know it, I feel it, I accept it, I give thanks for it, and I allow it to be. And I know this because I know that whatever our hearts desires is also the will of God. God not being a man in the sky, God not being an external deity, but God being a loving presence that is everywhere. Infinite, omnipresent, everywhere. And God is forever for all of us. God is forever for you. God is forever for me. It is God's desire that we all continuously allow for the next great and grand version of who and what we are to come forth. And that is exactly what we've done right now. That is what we've set in motion for something new, greater and expanded to come forth. And by God, and oh my God, God is at the back of us. The whole universe is at the back of us, supporting us, cheering us on, rooting for us, assisting us, leading us, guiding us. Something truly wonderful is happening right now. The small and limited, it is being dissolved. Fear, worry, doubt, lack, separation, poof, it's gone. It's gone. Only infinite possibilities. Impossibles no more. I'm possible forevermore. Something wonderful is happening. We're no longer confined by our past. We're no longer imprisoned by our experiences. In this moment, we've broken free from limitation, from boundaries. We're free. In this moment, we're free. We're free to soar. We're free to shine. We're free to glow. Excellence is happening right now. Mastery is happening right now. Divine manifestation is happening right now. I feel it, I feel it, I feel it. I feel it, I feel it. I give thanks for it, I feel it, I give thanks for it, I feel it. I know it, I'm grateful for it. It is happening right now. So it is, so be it. Amen. Yes. As always, thank you, thank you, thank you for joining me whenever and wherever you are joining me. I thank you for participating in creating this field of infinite possibilities. If you have any questions or comments, I would love to hear them. You can find me as always on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, my website, danielroqueo.com. Any questions? All questions, all comments, I read them. I respond to them. So thank you. Until the next time, I bless your way and I bless your day. You have been listening to an episode of the Path to Freedom podcast with me, Daniel Roqueo. Please stay tuned for more episodes. And for even more inspiration and empowerment, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. I also invite you to visit my website, danielroqueo.com. Blessings of love and light to you.